Okay, okay, cool. Yeah, so yesterday you guys must have, gotten an idea about the different data structures, lists, tuples, dictionaries, and you learned about string comprehension. So today we'll do loops. Okay, and if you guys are from the first years, then if you have C programming, then you must be having a slight idea about what loops are. But and if you're second years, then you'll obviously be knowing. But if you do not have any idea, it's all right. We'll do them today. So I'll start with why do we need loops. Okay, so I'll firstly start with a list. Okay, I'll just declare a list. So because you guys read list already yesterday, can anyone tell me which brackets should I use when I'm declaring a list? Anyone? They can just write it in the chat box. Okay, my list is named list one. Yeah, okay. So somebody said square. Okay, that's correct. It's square brackets. So I'm going to be declaring a list and I'll have elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the list. Okay. So this my list has been successfully now made. Now the thing is I want to access elements from the list. So if I want the element at the 0th index, what would I do? I would write list 1 because I'm taking it from the list 1, and I would write 0 element and I would access. So I would get 1 because it starts with 0 index, right? 0 to n minus 1. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the same way, if I want the second index, I would go with 0 list 1 of list 1 of 1. So I would get, what would be the output here? It would be 2. So basically it is that if I want to access elements in the list, I have to write list 1 of 0, list 1 of 1, list 1 of 2. I have to write it 5 times. Okay. In the same thing, if you execute it in an IDE, you'll have to write 5 print statements to access 5 different elements in the list. Okay, so that is basically time consuming. Now you guys can say that only 5 print statement, right? That can be managed. But what if the list had 100 elements? Okay, what if the numbers were till 100? So would we write 100 uh, print statements? Obviously not, right? So for removing this time consumption, loops were introduced. So while loop, with the help of loops, we can access the elements in a more efficient manner. Okay. So that is the reason loops were introduced. And there are different first I'll like this is the basic idea of loops. I'll start with declare like telling you why what are the different types of loops. Okay, so in a program generally, like yesterday and the first session, we dealt with very basics. So if you start writing a full-fledged Python program, you will see there are so many statements. There are a set of lines of codes, what we call. So in those, we use different statements. Now, those statements which we use, they can have different way. They can be either selective or they can be iterative statements. So I'll just tell you what these are. They can be selective statements or iterative statements. And these statements, with the help of these statements only, we write our loop so that the program which we write becomes more efficient. So now if I'm telling selective statements, generally, selective statements are also called as conditionals. Okay, so I'll write it here. Selective statements are nothing but they are conditionals. What does this mean? Like as the name suggests, basically I'll be providing a condition. If my condition is true, it will give a particular output, and if it is false, it will return something else. So with as I said, like while explaining, I use the terms if. So you must be getting what are the conditional statements? They are if this is the condition, my output is this. Else, like we use then, right? If this or this. So other one would be if else. There is one more thing you would learn, that would be if elif, that else if. Okay, so else if is being shortened in Python and it's written as elif. If elif else. Okay. So these are selective statements. So selective statements are also called conditional statements. And the next one, which I said, was iterative. So you guys should be knowing when generally the term iteration means repetition. So we repeat something. Like iterative statements can also be called as loops. So when you say like you're listening to a song on loop, you say that to your friend, right? What does that mean? That means you're listening to the same song again and again on repeat. So these are loops, and loops are for and while. So we will deal with for and while. And then there are another statements which are called jump statements. These basically help you to, within the loop, to jump out of the loop or print elements, like they are break and continue. So you'll just get to know that. Okay, so these are what you'll be learning today. So I'll go one by one. First, I'll start with for loop because I gave you an example of this list. I took a list one, right? So I'll be dealing with this list and I'll explain you the for loop first. Okay, so for loop falls under what? It falls under iterative loop, or it comes under an iterative statement. Okay, so I'll start with for loop. Now the same list, like this list one, has elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said that you had to write 5 print statements to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With the help of for loop, I can get them at once. So I'll deal with the syntaxes and everything like in a short while. I'll just show you how. For I in what is my list name? List 1. If I print my I I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hello. I guess there was a signal problem over there, so I'll share my screen. Okay, yes. ठीक है. So what was Didi teaching was for loops in between a list. So let's take that list again. What is this? List list one equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. Let's take this. Okay, and we had to iterate it through all these elements, right? For this, we could write it in a very inefficient way or a very slow way, just like print. What is this? List one element 0. Okay, and then I can just change it to 1, 2, 3, and if I print all this, it will give me all the elements of the list. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is giving me over here. If you can see the output, can you see it? Yeah. Please respond if you can see it. Yeah, okay. Can you see this 1, 2, 3, 4? So there's a more better way to iterate through all these lists. Like we want to print all the elements from 1 to 6 without writing all these 4 statements. So what we can do is we can take for loop. Like we said, what is a loop? For is a loop. Like you're listening to a song on a loop. I'm listening it to 4, 5, 6 times. So you're just looping all the elements in the list. So let's take an element. Let's take a variable named lm for lm in list 1. And I'll say print lm. Okay. Now can anybody tell me what will the output be for this? What will be the output for this? Just put it in the chat box. Like, what do you think the output would be? Anything, guys. You can just write your name also. It's fine. But I want to see how many people are following. Hello. All elements in list. Okay, correct. Okay, so I'll run it. You can see what it prints is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 6 in all separate lines. They're not in one line. They're all in separate lines. So what does this lm stand for? This lm stands for each element in the list once. For example, lm equal to 1 in the first iteration, lm equal to 2 in the second iteration. It just loops over, like it will keep increasing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will come till 6. Got it, guys? Did you get it? क्या हुआ? Okay. So by using this we can get all the elements. For example, if the list is of all the college students, like 2,000 people are there, so we wouldn't sit writing print student number 1, print student number 2. So we could use this list as we can use a for loop instead of writing all the elements manually.
Can you guys see now? Okay. I think it's visible, right? Yeah. Okay. So fine. Yeah, where was I? I was telling you that for loop is way more efficient than typing, print statements multiple times. So now we'll go into detailing in for loop. So here you can see I used certain keywords. Okay, I used for, in, so I'll tell you those in detail. If you want to know the syntax, this is the syntax here in the Word document. You can see for temporary variable in collection, and then we perform an action. Okay, so you have to remember few very basic things whenever you write a loop, be it for loop or any other loop in Python. So first is the keyword, and then another one is a colon. Okay, so here let's just break down these components. First is for. Okay, so for is the keyword which indicates the start of the for loop, and then we have a temporary variable. So this temporary variable, unlike in C programming and Java, you declare a variable beforehand, like in the start, whenever you're going to use it somewhere in the program, but you do not have to do that in Python. Okay, so this is a temporary variable. So this temporary variable, like here, you can see in my case, I have used I. I is the temporary variable. You can use any name. You can use your own name. Then making it professional, we use this. So I've used I. I is here the temporary variable, and it is going. So what it represents? It represents the value in the collection. So what is a collection? Here, my collection is a list. It can be a tuple. It can be a dictionary. It can be anything. Okay. And in is the keyword which basically separates my temporary variable from my collection. So I'm basically checking that this temporary variable is present in the list or no, is present in the collection or no. And then action. So action can be anything. Like if you want to increment it, you can increment it. Here my action is printing the statement. So I want to print my I. Okay. So this is basic, what you say, syntax for loop. But one more thing is, as I said, colon is the most important thing. So generally in loops, whenever when you use the loop statement, you end it with a colon, and as soon as you end it with a colon, it gets indented. There's a new word which is called indentation. So there's an indentation. You can see these spaces here. So it happens whenever you use a colon. Okay, so when I'll be telling you more of your more loops, right? So you'll just get to know what it is. So here, suppose, let me take, like, as I said, you can name the variable anything. Like if I name the variable hi, okay, I can see the roll number who's drawing, so please do not do that. So here my variable name is for hi, like I've named my variable as hi in list 1. Okay, now I'm not going to put a colon, and you see there's a syntax error. So what does this syntax error show? The syntax error is, you can see this red lining here, right? So this red lining basically tells that there is an error in the loop syntax. Okay, who has a doubt? Like anybody has a doubt till whatever I'm just telling? If you have, you can stop and then ask. Oh, well, I can't see 366. Do you have a doubt? You can ask. Okay, I don't find anyone asking anything. I'll continue. So you can see this. Yeah, you can ask your doubts in the chat box here, okay? But do not scribble and then show that you're having a doubt. Yeah, so as I said, you can see there's a syntax error, which is telling it's an invalid syntax. The same thing if I write for hi in list 1 and I put a colon, there's no error. It will basically indent. It will show me 6 white spaces, and then see, you can see the gap, and then I can print whatever I want to print, okay? So then it just print the value. Okay, so, oh, why did it print? Okay, it's hi, right? The variable name is hi, so it has to print, we have to write hi, not I. Yeah, so wait a second. For hi in list 1, I have to print hi because here my variable name is hi. So if I print hi, I'm going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is working with loops where for is my keyword. Hi here becomes my temporary variable. In is separating my temporary variable from the collection. Here my collection is what? My collection is list 1. Okay, list 1, and then my action here is print. Okay, next. Yeah, so now I already told you about temporary variables. You can name anything. You can name your temporary variables anything. And then I told you about indentation. Okay, whenever you use a colon, so you have to, in the syntax there is a colon. In the syntax, there is a colon, okay? And next, there's another one which is called elegant loops. This is, I'll tell you what this means. Now, if the program is simple, like here I'm only printing one line, right? So it is going to print very easily. For I in list one, I can print it in one line. So how do I do that is, I've just written this, and then you can just write the statement here as print of, what is my temporary variable here? Hi. Okay, so see, I've just limited this. So it's not going to show an out, like it's not going to show an error. It will print my values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. See, this is just a way of writing. If the for loop is very simple, you can write it like this in one line. But then for complex programs, you can't use this method, of separating it with a space and writing. So, okay. So this is what it is. Any doubts still here? Like this is basic for loop. Then I'm going to use the word range and show you what it does. Okay. Oh wait, there are doubts. Okay, why 5, 5, 5, 5, 5? Okay, so see, basically I declared my temporary variable as high, but then I asked them to print I. In the previous, you can see that I had printed I and the value was the previous value of I became 5. So that is the reason it printed 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 times. Okay, because list has 5 elements, right? So it was iterating 5 times. Yeah, okay. Let's clarify it. Till here, any doubts like basic for loop syntax? Do you have any doubts? That then I can move to range. If you just tell a no would also do, just let me know that there are no doubts. Well, if nobody's replying, I'll take it as a no and then I'll move forward. Yeah, you can use anything in place of I. Anything. Okay, fine. So next is another one that is using range. So as the word range says, I'm going to provide them with certain range and it will print numbers. Now suppose I'll take another element. Let me take x, okay? For x in range. So range is an inbuilt Python function. Okay, for x in range, let me take, so see, it is showing me here either stop, start, stop, step. So I'll tell you what this means, okay? So let me take a number 6 first. So for x in range 6, I'm going to print my x. Okay. So can anyone predict the output? Like just predict the output. I'll enter and show you the output, but before that, just assume what you think the output will be. So for x in range 6, so my temporary variable is in the range of 6. So I'm asking them to print. So any predictions you guys can make? Okay, 5 7 says 1 to 5. Okay, 1 to 5 is not the answer. It is 0 to 5. And yesterday, if you guys remember, Vishal told you about how the index, how it starts from 0 and goes till n minus 1. Right? It starts from 0 and goes till n minus 1. So if this range will start from, yes, it will start from 0 and it will go to n minus 1. So 6 minus 1, 5. It goes to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now, I'll tell you one thing. So you can see here, if you can see the Word document, there are 3 ways of writing range. One is range stop. Stop is basically the one which I've used here. For x in range of 6, I've asked to stop it at 6. Do not stop there itself. There is another one, range, which takes 2 arguments. Here it has only taken 1 argument. Here it will take 2 arguments. Suppose for x in range, 2 arguments, start and stop. So here I can tell them to start. Like I'll tell to start from 2. And I'll ask them to stop at say 10. Okay, I'll ask to stop at 10. So here I have given the start, I have given the stop, and then I'll print x. So now can anybody predict? Say I've told indexing goes from 0 to n minus 1 if there is no start element mentioned. Here I have the argument here start is 2. So it will start from 2 and print till 9. Correct. It will print till 9. So 2 to 9, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fine, correct. That is one. And then there is another one, which is start, stop, and step. So step was also discussed yesterday. That is, you can either increment or decrement using step. So for x in range, same thing. 2, okay, let me say 2, comma 10. And then I give my step as 2. Step as 2 means I'm increasing, like it starts from 2 and I'm incrementing it every 2 units. I'm incrementing it 2 units till 10. Okay. So the main thing of that is print x. So I'm just going to print x. So it's going to print 2 again. See, it starts from 2. The step count is 2, right? So it increments 2. So 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2, 8. Okay, it prints like this. So these are the three ways which you can, like, three ways in which range takes arguments. It takes one argument, 2, and 3 arguments. Is this clear? And also, am I audible? Keep telling me. Till here for loop, like writing basic for loop. Is it clear? Okay, yeah. Now, one more thing is, like there's a problem in HackerRank where they ask you, now you can see they are being printed line by line, okay, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a HackerRank problem is they want you to print it in one line itself. Okay, they want you guys to print this output. I'll take my output of the list one. Okay, I'll just declare one list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, this is clear. And now I want to print elements in a single line. So that is the problem which in HackerRank they've asked. So for I, okay, any temporary variable in okay, for I in what? The list. For I in list, I'm going to print now. Print I. This is clear till here. But in a single line, if you want, there is a separator which is called end. Okay, so using end separator, you basically separates your values in the list in a single line. So the syntax goes something like this. And okay, this is normal. If I put a space, basically I want a space between these lines. So I put a white space. And then if I print, see, it's going to print in one line. So this was a problem, like it was, I don't know for what, but then this was a problem in HackerRank. And there are so many problems based on this only. Like they just change the conditions in the problem, and then they ask you. So this is what it is. And is here a separator. There's one more separator which is called sep. Okay, it is called. Okay, wait. It's called sep. So in this separator, I'll just show you what it does. Okay, this is not a part of loop. I'm just showing you. Suppose I take two values like hi. Okay, h is 1. I want to print them h, and I'm taking another one as I. Okay. Yeah, h and I. So there's one thing called sep, which is going to separate your values in the print statement. So now I'm giving a dash, suppose. So now you see what it is going to print. It's going to print h dash I. Okay, this is not a part of loop. I'm telling you something away from the loops. Okay, do not get confused. So it is going to print h dash, like, let me take h, and then another one is I, and then my sep, I want a dash in between, like a hyphen. A dash in the between, and I want it to end with an exclamatory mark. Okay, I want it to end with an exclamatory mark. So now if you see, what is it going to print? Anybody can just predict the output. Yeah, I'll just print the statement. So it was h dash I and then an exclamation mark. Okay. So whenever, if anybody asks you, can you get print a for loop, like the output of a for loop in a single line, you can print it using this separator, which is called end. Okay. So this was all about for loop. Any doubts in for loop, like the syntax or how to write or how to show the output? You guys can tell. Then I'll move on to while loop. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll go on to while loop now. So while, as I said, in the starting that there are two iterative statements or two loops, which is while. Okay, so another one was for and another one was while. So we'll now see while loop. You can see the syntax here in the Word document, which is while, and then we have a conditional statement and then an action. Okay, so here, as I said, this conditional statement, you can like basically provide a condition that if my variable, whatever variable, a so and so condition, if that is true, while that condition is true, then you have to print that action, whatever action you're going to provide. So let me take one example. I'll take a variable count, okay, and I'll first initialize it to 0, like I'll assign the value 0. So I've taken a variable count and I've assigned it to 0. Okay, this is how you assign a variable name, and then this is an equal to, and then the value, whatever you want to assign it to. Okay, so I've assigned a variable. Now using the while loop, I'm saying that if my count value is less than or equal to 3, if my count value is less than or equal to 3, I want to print my value. Okay, I want to print the count. So now I'll just enter it. Okay, I'll enter it, and there's an error which is going to take place, but I'll tell you that later. What have I done till now is I've taken count equals to 0. I'm taking while count is less than or equal to 3. I'm going to print count. Okay, and I just enter, and you can see 0, 0, 0, an infinite 0, 0, 0 is going to take place. Actually, I pressed Control C to stop it, so that is the reason they have showed me this keyboard interrupt. Okay, why did this happen? So here, if I take you back to my while loop, you can see I initialized it to 0. I told if my while count is less than or equal to 3, I'm asking to print count. So now let me just break it down for you. So my count is 0. Okay, while count is less than 3. So 0 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, it is less than 3. It's going to print count. So this statement is true, it will print count. Again, it goes to the while loop. Again, 0 less than 3. It is true, it prints. So every time, in every condition, 0 is obviously going to be less than 3. So hence, it's going to print it infinitely. That is the reason I'll provide one more action. I'll provide one more condition. That is, I'll increment it. So if I increment my value, if I increment my count value, what is going to happen? At some point or the other, that count value is going to, be greater than 3. So that time my loop will get terminated. So the same thing, count is 0. I'll just modify it here. While count is less than or equal to 3, I'll print my count. Oh, I don't know why is it not printing. But then this is the way you can write it. Okay, count plus equals 1 will also increment. Like it's the same thing. It means the same. Count is equals to count plus 1. No, it's not. No, it's basically the same thing. I am not sure why is it not coming. We'll see that later. Like again, there will be so many interruptions. Okay. Let me give spacing and try once. If that works.
Hello, Akriti, just put count equal to 0 before that, because count ki value has already been 3.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, wait a second. I'll do that first. Yeah. Now it will work, I guess. Yes, it will print. Yeah. So yeah, because here it was updated as 3 already. So it wasn't printing anything because it was coming out of the loop. Then if I initialize my count to 0 again, then it will print. Yeah, right. Okay, so this is the syntax for while loop. Again, there's an indentation which you have to take care. After I have entered my while loop, I have put a colon. Okay, I've put a colon, and then there, see, as soon as I'm pressing the colon, you can see it is showing me white spaces here. So these are the white spaces. It indents automatically, and you can also write a while loop. Like you can write a while loop also in one line. So you can see it here in this. So while, you can see it in the Word document, while count is less than or equal to 3, colon, I have a print statement and I have another count statement, right? So after my print statement, they have put a colon, semicolon, okay, not a colon, a semicolon, to show that there is another statement which is running. Again, this works only for very simple programs. It's not going to work for complex programs where you have so many statements under a while loop. Okay. Next, I'll just hurry up because we have wasted a lot of time and connection problems and all. So next we have while loop using list. So this was basic while loop where I took a variable and initialized it. Now I'll take a list again, like let me just take a list. Okay, list 1, and I'll put the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I can also do this using list. So first I'll just, this length function, right? So if I print length of my list 1, what is it going to print? It's going to print 5 because there are 5 elements in the list. No, len, okay, len is this function which tells you the length of the collection, whatever collection, if it's a list, a tuple, or a dictionary. So it's not going to print the last value. Length will print how many elements are present in that particular collection. Okay, so this list has 5 elements, right? So it will print 5. So I'm going to assign this length to a variable length is equals to, I'll just write length of my list 1. I'll tell you why I'm doing that. Okay, and then I have to initialize a variable. Let me initialize a variable I, and I'll initialize it to 0. Okay. Now, why am I doing this is I'll compare my variable with the length variable. Okay, this length variable which is in the list. So the length is 5, right? So I will write while I, my variable which I have initialized to 0 is less than length. Okay, is less than the length variable. What is length? Okay, is less than length, and there has to be a colon. What I'm going to do is same thing. I'm gonna print my list. Okay, so listen, I'm going to print my list, right? So I'll print here list, and because my element is I, I'll be printing. Okay, see here I'll be printing list of I. I is what? From my 0, like I'll be printing, I'll tell you, wait, when you see the output, you'll get to know what I mean to say. And then I'll just increment my I. Okay, I is equals to, or I'll just use this, I plus equals 1. Now, if you see, is not subscriptable. What have I done? Okay, fine. I've used list, right? Whereas I declared list 1 here. I had to change it. Let me just do this. Yeah, list 1. So that is the error. Yeah, so it's going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you have to keep a note of it, right? Whatever you are declaring, like I put, there was an error which showed because I declared it as list 1, but then I accessed here list of I, so it could not find anything. That's the reason it showed an error. Okay, so this is what it's going to print. You can do this not only using lists, it can also be done using tuples, dictionaries. So I think from yesterday's class, you must be sure what tuples and dictionaries are. Okay. If you want, I'll share these notes. So they have line by line explained it. So it will be shared in the Google Classroom. Next, because we are running short of time, I'll move on to conditionals now. So as I said, what are conditionals? You provide a condition. If that condition is true, it is going to print certain value, else, or otherwise it's going to print something else. So that is only, these conditionals are nothing but are if else statements. So for those who know C programming, they would be knowing if else, and then you have if else if, right? So that is nothing but elif here. I'll quickly move into that. So, okay, let me just I will take even and odd numbers. So let me take, I'll declare num is equals to, let me take 3. Okay. So this number is an odd number, right? So I'll just give a condition. If my num is divisible by 2, it's this percentile is nothing but modulo, it gives the remainder. So if my num percentile 2 is 0, I have to put a colon. What am I going to print? I'll print the number is even. Okay, I'll print that. Else, okay, else, what will I print? I'll print it is odd. Okay, I'll print it as odd. So yeah, it's going to print. Oh well, I wanted to ask you guys, but then it's quite obvious because the number is 3. It has checked. Is 3 divisible by 2 giving me the remainder as 0? No, it will not give 0. The remainder will be 1. So it's going to come out of this and it will go to the else. Else, I have to print odd, so it printed odd. Okay, this is if else. And then you have if else. Okay, I'll tell you that also. Let me take a number again. I'll take a number. You can just see this example here if you understand. See, there is nothing. You can see the syntax. If I'm going to provide a condition and then I'll write the expression. It can be a print statement, it can be an increment, whatever you want. And then else, another expression. The same goes with if else also. If I'm going to provide a condition, otherwise, and then I'll print the expression, whatever I want. And then elif, another condition, expression, and at last, else, and then expression. So here I'm going to take num1 is equals to, okay, let me take 5. Num1 is equals to 5, okay? So now what happens, I'll do if my num1 is divisible by this percentile 2 gives me 0. So what does this mean? It means it is divisible by 2, okay? Divisible by 2. Then next, else, okay, else if, right? Else if, because I'm going to write 3 statements here. Else if can be written as elif here. Elif, my num1 is divisible by 3. I'm taking one more statement here, divisible by 3. So if it is divisible by 3, it has to give the denominator, like the remainder as 0. I'm going to print it is divisible by 3. Just leave the print statements. You just have to understand divisible by 3. Okay, so my if, elif, and then else. Else, what will I print? I'll print it is divisible by none. Like it's not either divisible by 2, not by 5. Not by 2 or, sorry, not by 2 or 3. So quite obvious answer is, what is the answer going to be? Like the num1 is 5. Okay, so I have given the statements here. You can just see and tell like that the answer is very simple if you understand. Yeah, it's going to print the third statement. So it will print not by 2 or 3. It's not divisible by 2 or 3. So this is the way. And it's not necessary that there has to be only one elif statement. There can be multiple elif statements. Depends on the requirement, like whatever requirement they give you. According to that, you can do. And then the last, so this is basic. Okay, now I have covered iterative statements and selective statements. Doubt still here? For, while, if else, and if elif else. Basic syntaxes, if it's fine, then I think it should be clear, because you can only learn more when you solve problems on your own. Like I can start discussing so many problems here, but they'll be of no use. But you should just be able to write the syntaxes correctly. Okay, so is it clear till here? Then I'll just move to the jump statements. It's going to take me another 5 minutes. If you have any doubts till here, you guys can ask. Yeah, it's going to print the third print statement, not by 2 or 3, because the number is 5. Okay. Should I move on to break and continue? Break and continue are nothing but jump statements. So what do jump statements basically mean is, they are used within the loops to jump out of the loop in some iteration. Like you're performing iterations in the loop, and then suddenly, you were providing a condition so that it has to break if some condition is encountered. Like if this number is encountered, I do not want to print further. I want it to end there. So you use jump statements. Or sometimes you say that if I encounter this particular thing, it should not print this thing, and it should print other than this. It can print anything after that. So you use continue. So break and continue are 2 jump statements. When I write the code, you'll understand it. So break is basically end the loop completely. Now, a basic one I'll be telling you here. See, you can take the example of that. I'll take for loop. Like I'm using the word loop, right? So obviously you have to use it within a loop. So for value, like I'll take the temporary variable to be value. I'm going to provide a string here. Okay, I'll provide a string, say code hub. Okay, so my string is code hub. For value in code hub, this syntax is clear. What I want is, I'm using now, because I told I'll be providing conditions, right? So my condition is, if my value is equal to, okay, if my value is equal to say E, if my value is equal to E, again you have to use a semicolon, you have to use a colon. If my value is equal to E, I want it to break. as soon as it encounters E, I want it to break. Okay. And this logic is understood, I guess. And then I'll just print my value. I want my value to print. That's it. Okay. So now just make random guesses of what the output can be. Like I'll explain it to you in words. I've taken a temporary variable value and the string here is code hub. Okay. I'm telling if my value, it encounters the alphabet E, I want it to break. And then I'm printing the value. So yeah, it's going to print COD. Somebody just wanted to play that, right? Yeah, it's going to print COD. The same thing, if you want it in a line, what did I say? You just have to use the, okay. Yeah, if you use the end separator, so it's going to print it in a line. So it will print C space O space D. Okay. So that is break. Now in this same code, the same thing, I'm just going to copy paste. In this same thing, I'm going to write continue instead of break. Continue. Okay. There's another statement which is continue. So what will continue do is, it is used to end the current iteration in whatever loop. It can be a for loop or a while loop, and it continues with the next iteration. So it basically means that in this given string, I'm telling whenever it encounters the value E, it has to not print that E, but it can continue with the rest of the alphabets, rest of the elements in that string, like whatever are there. So now can anybody guess what the output is? Yeah, correct. It is going to accept E, it will print everything. So it will print CODHUB. Okay. So that is how you use break and continue statements. Like this is a very basic implementation. There will be so many places where you use. Also, generally in Python, we do not have do while loop. Like you have in C, you have a do while loop, right? In Python, we do not have a do while loop, but with the help of while and if a loop you can use, and also break statement, you can make a functioning of a do while loop. Like I'll just tell you, there is no keyword like do this while the condition is this. There's no such thing in Python, but you can do it like this. Like let me just assign a variable. Okay, I is equal to 1, and like while, you must be knowing Boolean values, right? True or false. So I'm just going to use that. While true, so while while true basically means my condition will be true. While true, what am I going to do? I'm going to print my I value. I'm going to print my I value. Okay. And then same thing, I'll increment it. I is equals to I plus 1. And then now now see, if I run this thing, it is going to keep incrementing, but then I haven't given any condition, right? So I'll give my condition like this. This is basically an implementation of do while loop. You can do this with while also. Like you can give this condition. I'm going to give my condition here is I less than 5. Okay. I less than 5 is my condition, and I'm breaking it. I'm like, as soon as it comes to I less than 5, I want it to break. So I'll give break, and then it's going to print, yeah, 1. I is equals to 1, and then yeah. Okay, so this is a basic implementation of do while. It's not necessary for you guys to learn this do while like that. I mean, normally if you guys write a while loop, I think that would work. I mean, there is no such need of using if and break. Like normal while loop, you could directly provide here, right? You could directly provide it in place of true. But just to, if anybody asks that, is there a do while loop? How would you implement? You can tell that it implements using while, if and break statements. Okay, so I told do while in the last because I wanted you guys to know break statements first. So that is it. Like I'm done with teaching you guys loops. There are so many problems, like, you can find quadratic equations using simple if statements. You can find if a number is greater than 0, like it's a positive number, a negative number, or equals to 0. So there are so many such programs which we can write using the simple things. You can try it on your own. If you have any doubts, you can ask, like, whenever if you're facing any problem in writing the program, you can ask. But I've just taken you to the basic syntaxes so that you do not find, like, we ourselves encountered so many errors here. So you just got to know what errors to commit, like what mistakes you should not commit, right? So that's it. I think I'm done. Athar, will you continue with functions or hello? Like, am I audible?
Hello, I just got the mic now. So, what do you say, guys? Matlab, you want to study further? Functions will take another 15 minutes. So, if we finish
Yeah,
it now, you can
functions.
get to the next topic. We have
Exactly.
many
Like,
other
I
things
would
waiting for
suggest we
you.
go for it because if you guys know how to write functions, then you can basically design a
Uh,
whole Python program.
I'll not get into the details of functions. I'll just give you a overview of what function is and how to do it. So, I guess only the interested students are left now, 23. We'll complete it by 5 o'clock. What do you say, guys? Just put it in the chat box. I can see only 4 5 people are responding. 9 8 is there, and then 9 7 is also there. Sure, हाँ ठीक है. So I'll go
Okay.
with
So is it
functions.
fine till here, or do you guys want explanation for anything
Yeah,
else?
Shetharika is also there. 5 and 7 is also there. Continue. ठीक है. I'll share my screen. Pawan, please give me
Okay.
that thing to share.
Okay, fine. I'll just stop the sharing.
What do functions mean? Basically, in English, what do you mean by functions? Just give me anything. What do you understand by what function means? I'm waiting for you guys in the chat box. Whatever, Talo. What do you mean by functions? Use short forms and type. You don't have to type English sentences all long. Just write what do you mean by. No, I'm not talking about language specific. If you guys think I'm talking about language specific, what do you mean by functions? English में there is a word called function. क्या functionality function शादी का function something like that. What do you mean by that? Okay, a process. ठीक है, a process. Anybody else? चलो ठीक है. One guy has said process, so I'll take कि भाई one guy is interested at least. तो have you seen math functions? Math में you guys see f of x is equal to x square. Okay, you guys have seen all this, right? Maths तो की होगी तभी engineering. So f of x equal to x square. Uh, what does this function mean? If I put the value of f as let's say 2, what will be the answer? What will be the output of this? Tell me. F of 2 equals, like f is x square, 4. ठीक है, everyone is responding 4. So f of 2 is 4. Now if I put as f of 3, ठीक है, f of 3, what will be for this? It will be 9, right? It will be 9. So ठीक है, functions are basically like maths में. You see this value on the left, you substitute it with other things, and this value will give you an output. Like if you put 2, you get 4. So 2 is the input, 4 is the output. If you put 3, you get 9. So this is what a function means. A function is basically functionality. Functionality. Okay, so how do you write functions in Python? मतलब, how can I write? So there's a simple syntax. You just write def. In my code editor, it comes out as blue. So I'll just write a function like def. Let's say fun. Okay, fun. Let's take input. Let's say name. Okay, let's take a name. Now I'll put something name, comma I am fun. Okay, and now when I have to call this function, what do? I just write the function's name, fun, and a parameter is given. So, guys, can you tell me one name? Just give me a name. Let's take this guy's name. Who's this? Uh, Shetharika. Okay, I'll take your name. Please don't think awkward. Okay, okay. KshetH Rika. Okay. And if I run this, it'll output as. I'm sorry if I wrote it wrong. I don't know. क्या है? ये रहा. So it will come as this. Name error. Shetharika is not defined. Okay, I have to put it in strings. Yeah. So if I do this, I am fun. So this girl is fun. Okay. And then if I put my name, let's take my name, Atharv. So I'll put it as this, Atharv, I am fun. Okay. So what is this piece of code doing? It is basically taking an input, which is your name, and printing an output, associating it with this thing.